Hey y'all, IrixGuy here, and I'm intentionally zoomed out. I want to show you all the new work that I've done for the green screen. So you can see I've got these two Godox lights, and I've got these other two Godox lights. So there's four Godoxes, and they light the green screen. So this is kind of zoomed out. You can see I've added a sofa chair, and then I've added a sleeper sofa. So I've added a lot of additional furniture, which also functions as acoustic treatments. Hybrid Life, welcome back, man. How's the stocks and watches coming along? Did you find the equipment that you were looking for? Let's see. Let me pop up. I'm going to switch into my green screen here. Check this out. This camera doesn't have a remote control zoom, but check this out. So see, now I've got it zoomed as a tight shot, and now so what you were seeing previously, that's the studio from afar, the talk show desk rather, and now what we're going to do is kick into, we're going to kick into chroma key here. Chroma key being the fancy word for green screen. So I'm going to select my chroma key here. And then I'm going to pop up hopefully a convincing backdrop. Let's see, so I got that selected. Now let me get my Apple TV 4K, number 2 of 2. Let's see here. I'm going to put, let's see, which background today? I need to export some more backgrounds, but I'm going to do, let's see. Here's one. Well, yeah, this one. This will be different. Let's see. Okay, so here comes this one. Yeah, that'll work. I'm just setting up my chroma key. It's just kind of cool, to intentionally not have this set up, just so you can kind of see how it all comes together. So see, now I can put up my background, which is camera 4. And then I can do on air. Let's see, there we go. Bam, here I am in Anguilla. This is Meads Bay, Anguilla, one of the many nice beaches in Anguilla. Let's see, let me get my media here, and I'm going to drag in my logo. And then we'll be ready for showtime. Here we go. Okay, so that's how it all comes together when you don't have it all live, when you just fire up. Oh. You know what that means? Hold on. And that, of course, is the sound of the super chat. So anytime someone chooses to super chat like Hybrid Life just did here on the channel, he said, this is for a one-chip challenge video. Oh, are you talking about those? Yeah, I need to get my hands on one of those. That'd be I'm still burning from that from that Korean spicy 3X noodles. That was hot. And yeah, man, I could still taste that. Those Korean things, those were hot, man. And I like spicy food. That was brutal. So Hybrid Life says, waiting for the ZV-1, which is it's a vlogger camera with a LCD that'll flip forward really nice, 1-inch sensor. He says waiting on that. And then also something that y'all may not have been aware of that happened today, and a lot of y'all may be. And to be honest, I know there's a lot of positive hype associated with it, but I was a little bit disappointed. Sony released the A7S III. And what I'm going to do right now is pull open the specs and just kind of go through those specs and kind of tell y'all, well, is it cool? Is it kind of lame? So let's see. Let me pull these specs up, and I'm going to go through this in a deep dive analysis here for the A7S III, also known as ILCE 7SM3. So this camera was announced today, and it'll do 4K 120 frames per second, which is pretty awesome. It's got 759-point fast hybrid autofocus. So if you're not using manual focus, this camera is a beast for video. It's got a 16-bit RAW output, HLG, and S-Log3 gammas. Now, here's the disappointing part. It's only a 12 megapixel. Now, I understand you don't have to have, I think my camera, the A7R4, I think it's 62 or 64 megapixel. I forget. It's insane. And I like having those extra megapixels because when I'm doing landscape photos, still photos, when I'm doing that, I can, I can crop within post-production and still have a super duper high quality image. The disadvantage to using a camera such as the A7S III that was just released today, if you're like me and you're traveling small and lightweight, you don't really have the pack space and you can't afford the weight of additional, equipment on your back. So for me, in most scenarios, to carry two camera bodies would not be doable. I just don't have the space, and it's just, problematic. And for that reason, with the A7S III, if you're looking for an in-studio video camera or an in-the-field video camera, when, maybe you do have the luxury of carrying a second camera for still photos, it would be exceptional for video. But, the price that it commands just as a, what's ultimately going to be a video-only camera, that's just a little bit, that's a little bit much. Now, again, I do like the specs, and I do like that with the A7S III that it now has a flip-forward LCD, because the A7R4, R is for resolution, S is for, I don't know, it's their video camera line. They've got the S, which is video. They've got the R, which is resolution. So the R is what, is mostly your stills photographers. And then they've just got the base models, like the A7 III, which is awesome for stills and video. The A7 III has higher megapixel stills than the A7S III. So, that's kind of, what excites me about the A7S III. And again, I've got to have the A7R4, and the reason is that I do still photos as well. So for me to go out in the field, and obviously right now because of the, the global situation, there's not a lot of in-the-field activity. But for me to go out in the field and just take one camera, I couldn't just take the A7S III. That would be for video. I wouldn't be going out there and capturing 12 megapixel stills. No, thank you. So with that being the case, what I think A7S III has done for the majority of the people, it has signaled, what's next, what's Sony going to bring out next. And it only makes sense that they would make an A7 IV. Again, A7 III was an awesome camera, is an awesome camera. A7 IV would be the next iteration of their base model camera. And the A7 III is nothing but, I mean, it's definitely not base. I mean, it does 24 megapixel stills. It does 4K video. It's got exceptional autofocus. But, you know, with the A7S III being a disappointment in my eyes, for my use case, I'm not saying it's not a good camera. It's awesome. You know, if you've got the ability to carry multiple cameras, or you're looking for a studio-only video camera, or an in-the-field video only camera, and you don't care about stills, that's an incredible camera. And you could take stills with the A7S III. I mean, you could just do, you know, if you're uploading to Instagram or something like that, that 12 megapixel is still going to look killer. But for any sort of professional work beyond, you know, social media type images and that sort of stuff, I wouldn't consider, for my use case, I wouldn't consider 12 megapixel stills to be acceptable. So, you know, with that being said, this signals, hey, A7 IV. So how soon will we see the A7 IV? Because it only makes sense that A7S III introduced a flip-forward screen. So it would only seem to make sense that A7 IV would have a flip-forward screen. You know, bring out an A7 IV, you know, make it have 24 megapixel or better for stills, make it at least have 4K 30, and, you know, have a flip-forward LCD, and you've got a serious full-frame camera for a lot of people that, you know, that don't want to fork out for an A7S III that's pretty much for video only. But, yeah, and I understand there's technological challenges. I understand why they had to go with the lower megapixel to achieve the greater video quality, but, you know, I wish it could have been both. And that's, you know, for that reason, obviously, I'm sticking with the A7R4, because with the A7R4, I've got the best high-resolution stills camera on the market today, but I also get exceptional 4K 30 video. And honestly, you know, unless you're retiming, speeding up and or slowing down video clips, there's not a lot of value add by going with that higher frame rate. You know, you're not going to, what's the word for it? You're not really going to achieve much by having more frames per second. You know, if you're just doing in-studio stuff like this, if you're doing like backgrounds, like that background back there in Meads Bay, Anguilla. I filmed that in Meads Bay, Anguilla. And I filmed that, let's see, was that I'm trying to remember if I had the A7 III or the A7R III when I did that. Just put the camera on the tripod, filmed the background, 4K 30 frames per second, worked marvelously. So, you know, you're really not, most people aren't going to need more than 30 frames per second. And a lot of people that want the film look, they shoot at 24 frames per second. But I've always gone with 30. I feel that 30 frames per second is just a good frame rate. It doesn't consume too much disk space, because keep in mind, when you're capturing video footage, not just stuff that you churn and burn, you know, not just stuff that you film and you edit and then you discard after you upload, but stuff that you retain. Like, you know, when you're going on a business trip and you're capturing all of this awesome footage for future use, just like this green screen backdrop here, you know, when you're capturing abundance of footage, if you're capturing that in a higher frame rate, unless the compression has changed drastically, you're probably going to require a lot more storage. That's not just a lot more storage while you're in the field. I've got a little dark spot, man. Let me see. I need to pull this a little bit closer here. Oh, too close. Let's see. There we go. Aha, I had it angled too far the other way. But yeah, you need to take that into consideration, because it's not only more storage in the field, but then you return to your studio. You know, this is a business trip. You know, this is footage that you're going to want to retain for the long haul. So it's going to live on hard disk in your studio. You know, that costs money. And then you're going to have to, you know, to have off-site backup, you're going to have to back up to the cloud. And something that's potentially twice, 3, 4 times the size, because of the frame rate, from a retention perspective, that's not really that good. Now, the value add that it has, if you do film in a higher frame rate in the future, if you're wanting to utilize some of that footage for projects where you may retime the footage, in that scenario, it would be beneficial to have that footage captured at a higher frame rate, because it's not like you can go back and say, oh, well, I filmed that in 30 frames per second 4K. Wish I had done 120. You can't go back and do that. I mean, it's filmed in what it's filmed in. When you choose that frame rate when you're in the field, that's what you're capturing. That's what you're bringing back. So, yeah, I mean, the A7S III, just looking at, and again, it's not going to start shipping until September, but you can find it. You can find the link to pre-order the A7S III on my website, IrixGuy.com. But it's just, it's funny. I love Sony. I love Sony Alpha, but I can't get excited about this because I know, it's got a full-size HDMI port. And people have made such a big deal about it having a full-size HDMI port on the side. What's that matter, man? I mean, I've got a cable up there with my A7R4. It goes full-size HDMI into, micro or mini HDMI, whatever they call it. It's just a cable. And there's people that are trying to get excited about, oh, man, the A7S III has a full-size HDMI output port. Who cares? What's the value add there? Now, the flip-forward LCD, that's huge. Also, they say the EVF, and again, I have not had my hands on the A7 III. I'm just A7S III, rather. I'm just, referencing the specs. But the EVF, the viewfinder, electronic viewfinder on the back of the A7S III is supposed to be phenomenal. So, being able to see that detail while you're filming it is you're getting a really good experience with that. And of course, it uses the same type of battery that the A7 III, A7R4, and both of them uses Sony NP FZ100 battery, which is a great battery. If you're using the older A7R2 or the older A7S with those older style NP, I think NP FW50s, if I remember correctly, the battery life on those things was horrible. But yeah, I mean, you're, but I mean, still 4K. Now the things, not to be overly critical about the A7S III, but the things that do make it really cool is the fact that it's supposed to have better heat tolerance. So, there's been times, and it's not often, but there's times even with my A7R4, if I'm doing an extended in-the-field drone test video and it's hot, there's been times where I've had to, turn the camera off so it could cool down because it had the little heat thing. It was saying, hey, man, I'm getting hot. Turn the camera off. So, there's been times I've had to do that. Now, that may be a value add that A7S III brings to the table. If it can withstand higher temperatures for a longer duration, that would be beneficial. But it's I don't know. I would be, and again, I haven't had my hands on the A7S III yet, but I would be curious to film something. Let's just say a 5-minute clip at 120 frames per second 4K. And see how much disk space that 5-minute clip at 120 frames per second 4K consumes versus a 4K 30 clip that I filmed with my Sony A7R4. Because that's I'm expecting significantly larger file size. That's money, man. That's storage. That's your local storage and your cloud storage and time and. But the value add is that you've got footage that's a higher frame rate. So if you want to retime it, you can, and it's probably slightly more detail rich because of the higher frame rate. So, as TVs and monitors become more and more high resolution, There's 8K TVs out now, which I'm not interested in those yet. Number one, they're too expensive. Number two, I don't know if 8K is necessary at this point. Now, with 4K, I was an early adopter of 4K, and I was ridiculed for upgrading all of my cameras to 4K. They're like, man, nobody even has a 4K TV. And that's true, they didn't at the time. I didn't even have a 4K TV at the time. But I knew that, starting to film all my footage in 4K, except for live shows, of course, until 4K becomes available for that. And it is now. It's just a bandwidth issue. And the ATEM Mini Pro, it only does up to 1080p. So even if I had the bandwidth, I wouldn't be able to broadcast live right now in 4K. So, for that reason, I feel that, 8K is still a little bit in the future. Now, a year or so from now, will I switch to filming in 6K or 8K as 8K TVs become more mainstream and more affordable? Probably so. If it looks like it's going to catch on, at that point, I'll start filming in a higher resolution. But I think for now, at least for the near future, in the next year, maybe next 2 years, I think that 4K is probably the way to stay. And, I can't imagine, incurring the extra cost for equipment, incurring the extra cost for, not just the cameras, but, the storage and the editing equipment, because, 4K is a beast. When you edit it, even on my Mac, my little MacBook Pro with what is this, an 8-core i9 with 32 gigs of RAM, it still gives the Mac a workout. Speaking of workouts, so I started getting really fat because of the Corona, and I'm not going to go and get Corona just to work out in the gym. So what I did do, and I'm going to be doing some exhaustive videos on this, and I'm not going to tell you which one I got. Well, I'll give you a clue. It was not the Peloton, but I got something that I think is going to be better than the Peloton. And when you see this virtual setup, so I'm doing this indoor virtual workout. Well, I say virtual workout because the way it's going to work, and I'm not going to spoil the surprise. Stay tuned to my channel, and I'm going to go through this step by step, how I set it up. Do I like it? How does it work? How can you do it? What's the equipment that I use? This, that, and the other. But what's going to be so cool about it is, and I'm not putting the sound of the super chat away. So if super chats come in, it's just sitting right over here on this sofa chair. I'm just tired of holding it. So basically, Trelp, welcome aboard, sir. Welcome to the show. So, so what we're going to have here with this virtual workout stuff that I'm setting up is a way to do an actual workout, just like you were in the gym for cardio. Now, this is not a strength training workout, at least yet, but it'll be, you'll be able to race other people. You'll be able to, to track your mileage, track your watts, obviously track your calories burned, and it's all gamified. So it's not just sitting on and I'll tell you, it is a bike. And I'm not going to spoil the surprise as to what it is because I want y'all to see that within the video. But like I said, all that I'll say, it is not the Peloton, but the experience is supposed to be even better than the Peloton. And it doesn't cost anywhere near as much as the Peloton. So, kind of thinking, again, just the quarantine. All of us that, we're in quarantine, a lot of us are getting fat because we're eating. And if you don't go out and go to the gym and work out every day, you're going to get fat. So, the thing to do there is find creative ways to work out and stay motivated. And I think what I'm putting together is going to be not just for myself. Obviously, my channel is a business. So I'm doing it for myself because I don't want to get fat. Because, this quarantine, it's not like it just went a few weeks and it ended. Potentially, hopefully it doesn't, but, this could stretch out for years. Hopefully not. let's see, we got Willman KY. Welcome aboard, Willman KY. Welcome back. There you are, Willman KY. Just talking about getting fat during the lockdown and upcoming fitness videos. I'm going to be building it's kind of like an arcade for exercise. And it's going to be a gamified workout experience with competitive components, and it's going to be fun. So I got that, and then but I will throw the other thing out there. The other thing, so yeah, this obviously will be an exercise bike, but the details to come. The other thing I got is a rowing machine. So my objective, in lieu of not wanting to go out and buy a ton of free weights and a bench and all of that, and then remarkably in November the COVID goes away and is no longer a concern. I don't want to be stuck with all this gym equipment to sell, but I did get a rowing machine, not an expensive one, but it's a magnetic resistance rower. Lockdown definitely does not help with weight. Man, I know. I had for dinner I did a steak, covered it with cheese, did some mushrooms on the side, and a baked potato with a bunch of butter and sea salt. So, but I did drink an unsweet tea. So I didn't have the Coke or the Pepsi to go with it. But still, man, with not working out properly. And, I mean, walking's good. But the thing is, man, going for a walk, you're just not, I mean, yeah, you're going to burn a few hundred calories. If you walk like I walk, you're going to burn a good bit. But it's just not motivating. I would rather, instead of doing a lot, and I'm going to do live streams while I walk. Those are, just a different format. But I'd rather do an in-studio show and then just do a really intense workout. And again, since I'm not going to go to the gym because of the situation, I'm going to gamify the cardio experience and put that all over YouTube, because I want y'all to see how I've got this set up. And it's not going to be your traditional cookie cutter gamified workout experience like the Peloton. It's going to be a lot more advanced. And I don't know. I mean, I'm beyond excited. Not just to lose weight, but to to figure out what all can be done with this. So the objective is to have the cycling component, obviously for the cardio, and you do get with cycling you get some lower body definition, this, that, and the other. But then the rowing machine to work most all other muscle groups and a little bit of upper body toning. So what I'm hoping, in lieu of not having a gym with my free weight routine and machine routine, at least if I can do rowing just for upper body tone and upper body muscle workout, and then do the cycling for the cardio, I think it's going to be really cool. Now, the rowing machine, the way I'm going to set it up, it's not going to be gamified as much as the cycle. The bike is going to be super high tech, like you're in an arcade. So that's going to be the coolest part. But I mean, in reality, both of them will give a solid workout. Give it an hour, 2 hours a day. My objective is to still eat whatever I want to, drink whatever I want to, and lose weight rapidly. So that's the objective. So yeah, I mean, these times are tough, man. I mean, we're getting through all this nonsense, and the main thing is that we're all staying safe and healthy, because I mean, it's there's a lot of things I'd like to do. I mean, I'm overdue for a business trip. I mean, my business is travel, so for me to not be able to travel, that's kind of upsetting. But the bottom line is that it's risk reward. So I've chosen to take advantage of this opportunity in a way that will propel me in other ways right now. But once this pandemic clears, then be able to get back out in the field. But when I get back out in the field, have a more high tech, more capable production studio. So now is right now my focal point is the production studio. So I've made a lot of strides there. I've still got to do a little bit, and I love these lights, and I'm gonna rearrange things a little bit because I've installed a sofa and a sofa chair in the studio, and that's kind of it's made things. I've had to shift things around just a little bit to make everything fit, and then obviously to make everything fit also, because of this gamified indoor cycling experience that I'm going to be connecting. That's going to go in my studio. So it's going to go, that's why I moved that blue sofa chair, because I had it in front of the studio monitor. But that's where the indoor gamified cycling thing's going to go. So, I mean, it is there's big things coming here. Despite the lockdown, there is a lot of big things. There are a lot of big things happening now, and a lot of big things coming, super soon. And when all this stuff clears up, man, and I'm not confident yet where it's going to be. I'm thinking Curacao, which is right outside of it's just right outside of South America. I want to hit up Curacao, but I also want to hit up. Honestly, dude, I want to go back to St. Bart's and stay there for 9 nights or so and hit up all the beaches, video all the beaches, review all the restaurants. Well, not all the restaurants. That'd be super expensive, but, review as much as I can in St. Bart's and, for 9 nights. 9 nights there would be an ample amount of time to explore the entire island. It's not a big island at all. That's a big one. And I don't know. It's just, right now these are weird times, and it's just, how does one innovate and, and take advantage of the current opportunities. And, one thing that I've been happy about, I've had a lot of people come to me. They're like, hey man, how do you live stream? Or, hey man, how do you set up your wireless mesh network at home? Whether it's Google Wi-Fi, whether it's Google Nest, whether it's Amazon Eero, how do you set up a high-speed and reliable wireless mesh network? And, there's been a lot of people that have come to me for that. I'm not going to, fail to acknowledge it. I'm a hustler. So, if there's something I can do and, and provide a service, I'm going to do it. I'm not sitting here in quarantine and eating ice cream and doing nothing else. I'm sitting here in quarantine, cooking a lot of good food, eating ice cream, and doing a lot of something else. I'm doing a lot more than that, man. So, it's how you choose to spin it. If you want to say the quarantine is horrible, that's fine. That's a negative outlook, and you'll probably fail miserably. But if you want to say, hey, the quarantine is an opportunity, all power to you. So, with that being said, it feels good. People that are wanting to better propel their productivity while working from anywhere. Never say work from home in a professional setting, because anytime, any environment, if you say work from home or work at home, that's often, it's unfairly perceived as lazy. When you say work from home or work at home, you should better, it would be better to just say, work from anywhere or work remotely. If you say that, it just doesn't have the perceived negative connotation of work at home. So, wherever people are working from now, anything that you need consulting wise, with wireless networking, with live streaming advice, whatever it may be, shoot me a message. I'm always here to provide quality consulting services. And if it doesn't solve your problem, obviously there's nothing owed. Don't pay for something that didn't provide value. So, so that's going on. Drones. Let's see if we got any. I'm just trying to see if I got any new. Like I said, it's just been so hot that I haven't. And hopefully here in the next few days, I'm going to get out and fly the Mavic Air 2 and get some more footage for us. And update the firmware and see, kind of see what's new with the Mavic Air 2. Yeah, but the biggest, like I said, the biggest thing coming here within the next few days will be the epically gamified indoor cardio workout stuff. I think that's the, right now, not just for myself because I'm getting fat, not going to the gym, but there are so many people right now that are researching, and maybe they're not researching yet, but, maybe you should look down right now and see if you can see your belly sticking out. Because if you can, you probably need to think about a workout at home routine. What can you do? And again, I'm going to be opening a can of fun here in the next few days, because it's going to be and if this stuff disappoints, hey, if it disappoints me, y'all can be disappointed right along with me, because I'm going to be videoing all of it. Everything from the setup to the customizations to the, hey, how's is it a good workout? How could you make it better? So, yeah, for that reason, I've got a dual reason for wanting to pursue gamified workouts at home. Number one priority is my own health, because I'm getting fat. But number two priority is obviously the health of everyone else and capturing all of that exposure, because that is heavily, heavily searched right now. Go to any, and, don't go in, because you might get this virus in your nose or throat or whatever, but go on anybody's website and look at the availability of home fitness equipment, bikes, ellipticals, rowing machines, treadmills, stair climbers, and look at how much of that stuff's sold out. So, again, that is a huge market right now. Workout at home fitness. So, that's something that I want to thoroughly penetrate. And hopefully within the next few days, when my equipment arrives, I'll be able to start doing that. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm excited. Again, I'm excited for the health benefits, but I'm also excited to, explore just a new, not just a hobby, but a new way of doing what could be just a mundane task. If you get a treadmill, yeah, they work. You go to the gym on the treadmill, it's more exciting because there's people around. You talk to people while you're on the treadmill or whatever. You do a treadmill at home, it's often not as good because you don't have all the people around to interact with. You don't have the nice gym environment. It's probably a treadmill that's tucked into a part of your home that's just not a really great place to be. And that's why I think the gamified at-home workout experience is going to be so good, because I'm setting it up. It's going to be front and center. It's going to be right in the studio, man. And yeah, it's going to be. Let's see, there's something I was going to pull up here. I completely lost my train of thought, man. There's something I was about to pull up for y'all. Let's see. That's crazy. I was literally about to pull this up. Let's see. Huh. That's not good, because I was about to pull something up and I completely lost my train of thought. Wow. Completely. Well, is what it is, I guess. But yeah, so that's what's coming. You know, and obviously a lot more. I've had a ton of questions about the A10 Mini Pro and the Rodecaster Pro. So, you know, that's been really good. Been trying to answer all those questions that I can. So I still haven't done the electric bike. I know a lot of y'all out there are like, hey man, get into the e-bikes. One of the viewers of the channel is actually starting an e-bike rental service in the northeastern part of the United States. And, you know, I hope y'all do really well with that, because that's a very interesting business model. Obviously a seasonal business, because, you know, people aren't probably going to want to get out on an e-bike when there's snow and ice. But, yeah, man, I mean, it's so that's brewing. And then, let's see, what was that? God, it drives me crazy, man. You know, when you're about to do something and then something distracts you and you can't remember what it was. It wasn't anything earth-shattering. So we already talked about the A7S3. Oh, I know what it was. Yeah. That's exactly what it was. And that's going to be for an upcoming live show. Upcoming live show. So, well, with that being said, see, I mean, anything else? I mean, it's, let's see, what is today? Tuesday? Yeah, today's Tuesday. So today we had the A7S3. You know, nothing, I mean, great. Yeah, great for video, but I just think, you know, they're shooting for the moon with that price point. And it's one of those deals, you know, for most people to go into that camera, you would have to go into it, okay, this is a video-only camera. Because 12-megapixel stills can't be taken seriously in the field. So, yeah, I'm ready for the A7 IV. And then ultimately the A7 R5 that'll hopefully have the flip forward, you know, bring us a camera with a resolution with a flip forward LCD. And then you got the, you know, the killer combo there when it comes to Sony Alpha. And I know there's several of y'all that are on the Canon camp, which is cool. Canon's actually released some really convincing video cameras, you know, in their mirrorless line. So a problem with that though is that when you've got all your lenses are Sony, you know, you can't just hop from one brand to the other. And I have no desire to hop. Sony is great. It's been a lot more user friendly for me than some of the other camera brands. So again, just personal preference. You know, you start messing with one and you don't want to relearn all these menu systems in your head for the various cameras. You don't want to have to sell your existing lenses and then buy a whole new set of another brand of lenses. And, you know, it's just, I don't know. So, I mean, it's just is what it is. Yeah, man, nothing super exciting, but again, just consider this live show the calm before the storm, because, you know, something else that I hope to do with this virtual workout thing is actually have live streams, because I can stream that in. I think I'll be able to incorporate that into live streams as well, so that'll be kind of cool. But, yep. So that's everything in a nutshell for right now. So appreciate y'all tuning in again. Thanks Hybrid Life for the super chat, and let me know when you get your stocks and watches live show ready, and I'll be happy to dial into that, man. And just to celebrate the super chat again, tremendously appreciated, I'm going to bring out the sound of the super chat. That is the sound of the super chat. And this thing's big, man. You can knock out my studio lighting here. I can knock it out, so I got to be careful when I'm moving this thing around. But, yeah, we've been live for about almost an hour, about 46 minutes. So, again, appreciate the super chat. And, you know, everybody tuning in. And this is the calm before the storm. Let's just put it this way, you have no idea what is coming within the next few days. I mean, it is, I'm excited about it. And I mean, it's, it's just one of those things, you get excited about stuff because you just have a gut feeling it's going to be really cool and beneficial. So if something is both entertaining and provides value add, whether it's health benefits, whether it's something that generates money, generates revenue, whatever it may be, if it has that additional component. So, oh yeah, that's fun, but hey, it also helps me to lose weight, and it also provides me with the opportunity to film a lot more tutorial videos and educate the world on how to create your own entertaining, gamified indoor workout experience. So, again, and maybe that's why I fattened up. Maybe it wasn't the quarantine. Maybe I fattened up because I want y'all to see the results of this effort on camera. Because it's going to be a daily workout grind. Not a grind, because grind implies a negative experience, a less than desirable experience. It will be a daily, fun-filled, cardio-burning quest. There we go. So stay tuned and really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and do my thing here. Let's see. Which one do I go to? Oops. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channel to continue to grow. Thank you.